Welcome to Circle Chats. Thank you so much for joining me, Teresa, to share your experiences around circles and how they've impacted your world. So I wanted to start off with what kind of circles have you participated in and for how long?
I've been in circles for years. I've been in leadership circles. I've been in my coach training circles, and I've been in writing circles. So 20 years I've been in circles. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild when you think back to how many you've participated in. It all of a sudden, oh my God, I've done this before.
Well, wait, and then there was brownies when we were sitting in circles, and we did, music in circles and games. So
it works.
A good thing. Yeah.
So when you think about circles, what drew you to join a circle?
Well, I'm going to zone in here a little to the writing circles. And it was you, actually. Because I'd been following you for a number of years in the coaching world, whatever you were doing at that time, 10, 15 years ago. And then I got an invitation to a writing circle. So that was new for me. And you were facilitating. So it was a bit of a stretch for me to join. I'm like, I was doing morning pages for a long, long time. So the writing piece for myself, I was doing. So this was like, now I'm going to show up and I'm going to write to a prompt, and then I'm going to read it. So that was all new. That was all new for me. But you as the facilitator drew me in.
Thank you.
And you are, and what I know and what I did experience is you're an amazing facilitator of the circle, of the writing circle.
Thank you. It's a deep love of mine.
Yeah, just hold space so tenderly and beautifully, that any discomfort that I had, dissipated. Any fear. Yeah.
And thank you for mentioning that, because, our writing, we're sharing innermost things, and it's often uncomfortable and a little bit scary because, we're sharing deep bits of ourselves. So thank you for mentioning that, that in the beginning, it can feel like a stretch, like, oh no, can I do this?
Right? Yeah. And what happened for me was just the magic, like trusting that, I could be given a prompt, and in 2 or 3 or 5 minutes, boom, whatever came out of me was perfect. And I learned to trust that, like just to trust that I had it in me, and to kind of get out of my own way and just let it flow. So it probably took some practice, because I'm really good at it now. And now I show up at circle and boom, I'm there. But, in the beginning, I was in awe. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to believe, and I'm just going to trust. And it always, whatever came through me or out of me was perfect. And it was an enlightening for me, about me. It was like, this is who I am, and in words on paper, not who I am. This is part of what I'm experiencing that's true right now in my life in this moment. I think that's a truer statement.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on. And allowing yourself to be this ever-changing, ever-evolving being that can show up in all these different, colors and shapes and textures, and it's fine. and it's perfect, and it's true, and it is whatever it is. Just that capacity to be with, the spectrum of your fullness is,
Right.
to me, such a powerful experience for each one of us, to know that we're not just one thing, or that this moment or this feeling that we're having, this is it.
Oh, I finally figured it out, right? It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. The lusciousness of experiencing and being open. And yeah, it kind of, for me, it grew, that knowing and trusting, and maybe it grew me. And the more I show up at Circle, the more it grows. The expansion that we've talked about that in Circle, just how we expand and make room and have room.
Yeah. So you already dove into my next question, which is perfect. So what were the benefits of being in a circle?
Oh, having a weekly practice in Circle, it's like I look forward to that special place, knowing that I don't know, I can tap in. It's like, not that I can't tap in any time, but it's like it's on the calendar and it's set aside, and it's so it's almost like this word popped, religious experience. It's like, it's that special, it's that sacred. I think that's a bit it's, it's that sacred, a time and a place. And even when I'm feeling, and I don't know if I have it in me today to go, I have found whenever I put that aside and show up, I come away feeling, I don't know, expanded and lighter and more connected to the other, more connected to the other Circle participants, but to the world around me. It's like, yeah. It's just a little thing, Circle.
Any surprises? Any unexpected things that occurred that you were like, oh, I didn't expect to feel that or experience that?
I think in the beginning there were more surprises as I became known to myself. And I think that happened in the reflection that I was open to, I think, in receiving sort of feedback on my writing, not critical feedback, but, oh, this is what your writing did for me, or this is how I experienced your writing. That sort of feedback helped me see more of myself. So that was big. For many years in the beginning, that was big. It's like, oh, it helped. It was like a mirror.
Yeah, one of the things that I just adore about circles, and that I found for me like the secret sauce about how I grew and how my writing grew and changed and became richer, fuller, deeper, was the reflection. Because so often you don't see yourself. You really don't see yourself. And in community, in connection, in circle, who you are in that moment is being reflected to you. And sometimes and I've seen this in myself, and I've seen this in participants, where at first it's like, they're not sure, and it's great feedback. All the time, it's awesome feedback, right? Because the way that we give feedback, it's a nurturing seeing of the being that's in front of you, and that is sharing what's coming through them in the moment. And here's the thing: you hear it once, or you hear it from one person, it's like, oh, But when you keep hearing it repeatedly from reflected from the rest of the circle, and week after week after week, it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, I must be that too.
Right.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what you're pointing to. It's that, really being in a circle in that kind of deep connection and deep caring connection.
Mm.
Because there's a lot of care in how you are held in that circle. We see one another, and that's one of the gifts that we give one another in circle, is this seeing.
Oh, I love what you're saying. Seeing, it's so important, right? Like, it's so important. And I'll speak for myself. I can often go out into the world and not feel seen. It's just like, hello, I'm here, pay attention. And the world feels like a busy place, and maybe people aren't as, I don't know, I'm going to use the word grounded or self-aware, and that seeing's not always available. And I guess I yearn for that. And I know that I will get that in circle.
Yeah.
I know that I will get that in circle.
Anything else you want to share about circles and your circle experience? Even about, because I know that in our circle, which you have participated in, that you also facilitate. Anything about maybe even being a facilitator in the circle? What's that created for you, or anything else that you can think of?
Yeah, I can speak to facilitating, because you also grew that into our circle experience. It wasn't always that way. You did all the facilitation, and I was quite fine with that. On time. And then, there was a circle where you're like, no, you guys are gonna, lead, co-lead. And so again, it was a jump. It was a stretch for me, a learning experience. And I'm so grateful that I took that leap, because what I learned in leading is to trust even deeper and trust even more that whatever I designed for the call, for the day, it was perfect. And that I just got to be me and my lead, like trusting that what I brought, when I bring my me to the lead, it's perfect. So I really stepped into that, and thank you for that. I love to lead them. I love to lead.
Yeah, and it points just to the other thing that I love about circles, is that we can renegotiate the agreement at any time. We can say, let's try this. Because I remember, was it you or someone else? I don't remember who was. Someone brought in music, someone brought in art, and it was like, whoa, this is different than a piece of writing, a piece of poetry, and there was a playfulness to it. So one of the things that I loved about it, because I noticed as we each started taking responsibility for the leading of the circle, right? Yeah. There was a level of richness and connection that the circle was good before. Then it became, oh my God, this is really juicy now. Because we each got to take the circle on a different journey, because I love, the ideas that I come up with, but I know from having facilitated for so long and hosted so many events and interviews and all the things that I've done, how much wisdom and brilliance and just juiciness resides in each one of us, if only we'll be given an opportunity to share it, right? And so in that co-facilitation, we each get to bring our own special blend of what it is that we bring to the party. And the rest of us eat it up. We gobble it up. We're like, oh my God, that's so good.
It's like, what flavor ice cream are you bringing to the party?
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for that. Just because the circles that I'm leading now, I've got a community circle that I'm running on a monthly basis. I'm doing all the facilitating, but I'm going to start inviting guests. Oops.
Ah,
That's my next move. Just because it just brings a different, it's a different dance. And one of the things that I've noticed is that the more that we come and play, the more that it gives all of us permission to play. And,
right.
and when I see that you can do it, and Gina Diane can do it, and Lisa can do it, it's like we can all do it. And we all get to do it our way, which is really the gift that we bring to the circle. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Love you, love you.
Love you too.